to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and we're here today to sew together our pattern called Argyll Socks. Now this has been, you've been having a couple of times there where you've seen the pattern and now you can know how to make the templates for sewing machine or how to make templates for an English paper piecing project. It's up to you how you finish this out. Now, but before we get ready, you're going to find the PDFs for the pattern for Argyll Socks in the show notes below. They're always going to be there. It's going to be free. But also what's there is Rita at the Quilted Chicken Farm. Her YouTube channel is a lot of fun. And I found her a couple weeks ago and I thought, yeah, this is going to be this is so cute. So if you go over there and you check her out and you like what you see there, tell her that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. Because, you know, she doesn't know the shout out is coming. Now, also in the show notes below, there is going to be the Facebook group link, and we're having all sorts of fun with the virtual sewing room, fabric exchanges, free patterns. There's people are finding free patterns and posting them within that group as well, and posting links to bloggers, and it's all sorts of fun. They have, I don't know how many chats are going now, but my phone is buzzing constantly. It's a lot of fun to see what's going on with what's inspiring people. We also have the Zoom sew dates, which I want you to bring stuff that's inspiring you to the Zoom sew date, because I want to know. I'm just nosy that way, I guess. And we have a lot of fun on those Zoom sew dates. They start at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada. Now, we got some scraps. Now, some of these scraps are pretty scrappy looking, and we'll be able to make some beautiful blocks with them. So, share, like, and subscribe. Come on in, let's get some sewing and cutting done. Okay, we're at the cutting table and I've got some low volumes here that I'm hoping are going to work. Now, the low volume piece is this odd shaped piece, four-sided piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and find straight of grain, because I want straight of grain on this fabric. So we just fold one over like that. And we fold another over like that. That's straight of grain. Okay, that's straight of grain. That'll work. Okay, so in order to cut this one, I'm going to put my fabric down like that. Well, I can't cut that because this edge will wear off, right? So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut the bottom. And I'm just going to, where's my rotary cutter? Okay, pet bed material. Okay, so now I know I can slide this all the way down, and that's my first line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler to protect my template. Now, I can either do that where it's on top, or I can set it down beside and pull it away. That works. Now, oops, did you see what I did? Okay, hang on, let me start this over again. Get it all unmuffled. Okay, so what I did is that before I cut my line, I lined up my ruler and then I did my cut. So now on this one, I'm going to cut it this way because I want to get this fabric. So I make sure everything is lined up this way. And then I just lay my ruler down up to my template, and I've got good push, and I just pull it away like so. And more pet bed scraps. And then I pull it back, line it up, and there we go, just like so. Oops. Okay. And now we want to get that little notch, and I'm just going to notch it like that. There we go. So there's the 2 and 2 reverse, right? Because I folded the fabric over. So that makes this very quick. It does make it very quick to cut. Now I only need 2 of these, and I decided I was going to go red. Because I can, right? It's like one of these crazy things I can do red. So Now what I can do is I can lay this like this on here, or I can cut it so that I have straight of grain going this way. So that means all my edges, oops, sorry, are biased, but that would work. That would work best. So I'm just going to cut it like that. Get this because it's a solid. And just swing it around. It's this is out of my crumb box, by the way, guys. So in case you're wondering. Oh my gosh, you just pulled that out. Okay, there we go. Let's start again. Make our first cut. Push it back into place. Okay. Now, if it's not quite in place, you can maneuver it just a bit if you had to. Okay. So now it's in place. Line perfectly along that line. Okay, there we are, and there's the second cut. And I put all that back. Now, I'm going to swing this around because I don't like cutting overhand. I had a cutting accident a while back, and this has made me a little gun shy. Okay. Hopefully you can do all this without bumping the camera too badly. I'm just going to get my tip cut. There we go. There's the tip. And swing this around so I can cut this comfortably. Okay. And I'm just pushing that up. And this way, it's much safer. It's a safer way of making your cuts. So now there's my two red little kites. So I'm going to put them up here. And we have two fun little blues. I'm going to go two different blues. I pulled fabric and I got this fun batik. And this batik doesn't have a right side or a wrong side, but that don't matter. Okay. So, and we want straight of grain going this way, because the straight of grain we want going here. How's that? Straight of grain? Yep, it is. Okay, first cut we make. You guys can still see this. Just check on whether or not you can still see it. Okay. Now, I know this looks like a lot of extra work, but it's worth it to not ruin your template. Because it's if you ruin your template, what happens is your quilt blocks start getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and you have to then turn around and redraw it, right? So this just makes it easier, right? Okay. And now, oops. Okay. There we go. Here, get that off. There. Can you still see? Yep. Okay. I stop and I'm checking every once in a while just to make sure you can still see what I'm doing. Turn that off. I'm going to throw it back in the pile. And last cut. And we have our honeycomb shape. Oops. Our honeycomb shape. Just like that. Okay. And there we go. So let's get to the sewing room, or the sewing table, or the sewing machine, and we'll get this sewn up for you. Okay, we're at the sewing machine, and these are my templates. Now here's my fabric. Now, people are like, okay, there's so many Y seams. Why didn't you pick the English paper piece method to show? And I'm like, well, maybe I might still. The first thing I do is I take my time and I line up my honeycomb shapes. And I try and get that as best lined up as I can. Now, is there one way that this is going to fit better? No, I guess not. Okay. So, I'm just going to run a 1/4 inch seam all the way through We're not doing any stops. We're not doing any of this, any of that, nothing. Okay, and that's counterintuitive to what everybody else tells you to do. I know. Okay, so now we're going to open it in the back. We're going to fold it open like that and finger press it down into place, right? So it looks like this. So from this, we're going to put this down, and we're going to, there's an imaginary 1/4 inch line there, and we're going to sew, oops, we're going to sew with that until we get to where the seams cross. And I wish I had my other foot on now, but that's too late. Too late for that now. Now we're going to grab it from below and pull this gently over. And sometimes you got to maneuver and talk and kind of like, you know, threaten it a little bit. I like the whole threaten it a little bit kind of thing. And you just want this. Now you can't do too much pulling on it because this is a bias seam right there. Right? But you need to have this all coming out flat. If it doesn't lay flat, what's going to happen is you're going to have a pucker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give it a little help, a little more help, and putting it down. There we go. Okay, there. And it got stuck. No, it didn't get stuck. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. Now, we're going to lay this out and make sure that this worked. This didn't end up with a pucker. And I think it ended up with a tiny little pucker because my feed dogs were acting up. But what happens is this opens perfectly to where it needs to be open. Right? This seam here below kind of pops itself as you're, you know, creating this point. And sometimes you need to manipulate it a bit. Hopefully I don't have to take it apart. And here we go. That's our first line. That's our first line. It has this tiny, tiny little pucker that'll probably iron out. So, get the other side down. And from our handy dandy design board, we take the next piece. And it's a solid, so I don't really have to worry about what side goes down. First, I want to make sure that this ends up there. Let's put this down through. Okay. Now, make sure it all lines up good. Yeah. Now I'm going to sew right down to where that seam is, because that seam tells me where to pivot. And I get close as I can. There. Now I'm right on the seam. So now, again, reach up and under. Hang on, let's get that little end off. Now, in the needle down position, right? And now the trick here is to get the red piece lying flat. And if you have to kind of maneuver it a little bit with your tweezers or stiletto, you can. We'll certainly do that. Okay. And oops, this has got to be, and of course that folds differently. And here. So now we got two. So let's take a look at that point. Okay, now that should have opened. Yes, it did. It opened. And there we go, nice. So now we finger press it. Now, basically what's happened is the red, you know, pushes out, right, on the back. Right, so that's where this point is where you're going to have a lot of bulk. Right, now, the next piece goes in here. Now, this is where I would pin. Because you got to go 1/4 inch in from where that mark is. And you got a 1/4 inch in from where the seam is, this line is. And you don't have that luxury of having a line already because this is already going this way. It's not pressed open. You can press it open if you'd want. But there, we're going to just push it like that and line it up a little bit. Okay, now you get this under, right up to the pin, and pull the pin, and then, now I'm in the needle down position, so now I want to maneuver it so that it's got a nice flat seam to work with. Yes, we do. There it is. Okay. Put the plug through, and now we're going to open this way, so it, you know, it wants to go this way. It wants to go where the white goes this way, which is fine, because then it's kind of like pressed to the dark. So that's the way this looks, right? Just like that. Let's get the next side on. And we want, you're going to end up going the other way. Oh well, let's get this pinned. Let's get it pinned. Anyways, see, 1/4 inch down from where your seam is. Put that in there. And then maneuver it so this goes this way. And there we go. And we're going to sew it from the wrong side this time. There we go. Now this side you can see where the pivot mark is, right? Now with this up, the needle is down, you pull your pin and you just give a little coaxing out, and there we go. Now, as you're coming up on your plow, there we go. And you kind of lift your little plow, because the plow will create some drag. So this wants to go in again. You've got a nice 1/4 inch up here, like your point is right there. So let's get the other one done. Oops, it's this way, right? Yeah, okay. Let's get this one done. I pulled it from the bottom, I flipped it around. Oh my gosh. Okay, some days I'm dyslexic, some days I am not. There we go. So, press it down, maneuver this in place, tip your pin so it holds. And I've got the world's dullest pin in place, but that's okay. Okay. Now you want to, I have a 1/4 inch foot on with the plow, so I have to lift my plow just to slip the needle under. And as you're approaching that needle, slow down. Now right up to your needle, drop your needle in the down position. And maneuver this so it has lays nice and flat. And go all, finish the rest of the seam. And through this. Okay. Alright, here we go. There. There. Now, last piece. Okay, goes on like this. And I'm going to pin this here. 1/4 inch in at the point. And a 1/4 inch in. See this point, if you were to, okay, let's draw this because I know I'm going to have questions on this. So let's say you've got a pencil. We can find a pencil. Yes, we can find a pencil. If you were to draw, take a 1/4 inch ruler and draw a line like this and a line like this. That X is where you mark. That X is where it marks the spot where you pin, right? Now, and I know I go through this sometimes a little bit too quick for you guys, but I've been sewing a long time. So you pin right there, and then you pin right here, right where those pieces intersect, and you push it down, and we're going to do the long part first, because we're sewing it the other way. And we want to get all lined up, ready to go. And then you tip your pin to pin it in place. And, oops. I want to do it which way? Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the X. Oops. And see, the pin will cause some drag as it hits that plow edge. There we go. And just tip it so it goes like this. You can even hold it with handy dandy tweezers if you want. Okay, there we go. And where is, okay. The plug looks like it's ready to retire. So now it's going to tip in, right? The white is going to be pushed in because you press to the dark. Okay, and we'll get to our ta-da moment. So this is Argyll Socks. I just thought this was such a cute little fun idea. And there's so many different ways you can do up this pattern. Like I said, you could do it with a sewing machine, hand sewing, or English paper piecing. It was just fun. The seams do wish to go a certain way, right? So you just might as well work with it. The only seam that got pressed open because of the sewing machine method was the middle one to make your Y seam to add the red onto the blue, and everything else, like this white, must go in. It was fighting going the other way. So if that's the way you want to go, that's good, because it's pressed to the dark now, right? Now this looks funny because the next block would be a 1/4 inch in. But they do turn out to be honeycombs. And if you lined a bunch of them up on a row for a block, you know, like a long runner around, like say a border piecing or something, they would look just cute, you know, like this whole little Argyll thing. Now I pulled all of this fabric out of my crumbs. So this is another thing. It's a great little scrap buster because it doesn't matter what colors are here. You know, you need 2 pieces here. You could add 2 totally different pieces or add the same piece, right? Your whites or your low volume, I was able to find pieces big enough for my all 4 corners, but you don't need it that way. If you're going to do it all scrappy, it's all good as long as it's a low volume, right? It's fine. But I do hope you give this one a try. It was a lot of fun to sew up for you, and it was fun digging through my little crumb box to pull out some fabric. So anyways, until we meet again, I hope you have an absolutely amazing week and things are blissful in your life. So until then, take care. We'll see you again. Bye! My husband and I would love to thank you for all of the amazing people that we have met along this crazy YouTube adventure that we've been having. We do free speaking engagements too, so if you're part of a guild and they're looking for, you know, people to talk and, you know, and chat with, you know, in their monthly meetings, tell them that I'm doing free ones just to help the guilds out, because it's been a tough time for the guilds as well. You know, share, like, and subscribe with your friends. You know, make sure that they're, you know, they get the word out on us. That's the best way you can do to help us out. So until we meet again, I want to thank you. Okay, goodbye.